everybody, it's TF Renegade here, and I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. In today's video, we're taking a look at Transformers Age of the Primes Sideways. Now, this is the version of the character that was featured in the Cybertron cartoon, which is the one I grew up on. I remember watching that on Cartoon Network, but I never made it far enough in the show to where he showed up, so I didn't even know who he was. I saw this guy releasing, I'm like, who is this guy? What are we doing here? Who is this? So I looked him up and I was like, oh, this guy's actually cool because he's supposed to be the same character as the Armada version, which I do know and I do like. We are getting that figure sometime later next year, so I'm excited for that. But when it comes to this guy, he is from Planet X along with Soundwave, which I'm hoping we get a Soundwave soon because that figure does look pretty cool. So I'm really hoping we get a version of him soon. But Sideways, he's pretty cool. He's not that interesting. He's supposed to be the same character as Armada, but he's different. You know, it's not the same guy. But, you know, I do think this figure looks pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at him. So starting in his robot mode, we can see they did a pretty good job translating that screen version of Sideways into this toy. But there's a lot of good and bad with this figure. And I would say the bad is the parts forming. It does suck that we have to take the wings off and on. There's some stuff you can do with them, but you know, it's a bit of a bummer that we have to do that. We'll talk more about that when we get to the accessories, but the good part is the figure himself looks great. I love this head sculpt. I think they did a really good job on that, especially with the paint and the molding detail. I think that looks pretty nice. So that's good. His chest is awesome. I love how that turned out. His arms aren't anything special, but they look pretty good. He's got a pretty skinny waist, but that's accurate, so we got that. He's got some nice pieces over here. I love how these stick out. The design is pretty cool. He's got silver paint on the front. He's got some little fins sticking out on his ankles. His feet are pretty cool. He's got some nice gold on the tips over here, so that's pretty cool. You flip him to the backside. He's got these little draping pieces over here. I don't know really what to call them. They look kind of like a cape when you have it like this, but I think these look pretty good because he does clean up really well. You're not going to have any problems with back kibble or anything. So as a whole, I think the robot mode looks pretty good. So when it comes to the accessories, Sideways here does not disappoint because he comes with quite a bit. Of course, he comes with his wing pieces, which are parts forming, and you can stick them on his legs if you want to complete his look from the show. So you have that. Or if you want to, you can turn them into weapons. You can have one of these in his hand if you want one, or you can do both. So you have a bit of a double-edged sword there. So that's pretty cool. Or you can stick them on his arm if you want to have a shield. So you do have a lot of playability with these pieces. Personally, I like them just attached to the figure, but you know, if you want that playability, you do have it. So he also comes with another weapon, that being his little crossbow thing over here. The cool part about this is you can kind of maneuver this little piece at the top over here any way you want to, if you want to display it a certain way. But he does have these little insignias on the inside, as you can see. Got the Autobot logo, and if you come around to the back, there's a little switch. If you pull down on it, you got the Decepticon logo. So that's really cool that they're kind of diving into his little like manipulative personality where he's playing both sides. They really don't explore that, but it is a cool option that it's in there. And of course, he's got a little peg in here so you could stick it on his hand or on his arm. You know, you can display it however you want. But the other cool thing is he comes with a Cyber Planet key. As you can see, it's got a nice Decepticon logo on the inside. And if you want to, you can stick it on the backside of this so you can kind of complete the look there. So I'm really happy they included this. And yeah, I mean, he's got some cool accessories. Now it's time for the juicy part, the articulation, so he can look to the left, to the right, and all the way around if you want him to. You don't have any problems turning that around, so that's nice. He cannot look up in the air, but he can just look down just a tiny little bit if you want him to. You can stick this arm out all the way like so. You can turn it all the way around. I mean, this piece sticks out a little bit, but if you just turn it to the side a little bit, you won't have any problems with that. He does have a bicep swivel, he's got an elbow bend, and he's got a wrist swivel. So that's really nice. We got all the motion here. He does have a waist swivel as well, so we love that. And when it comes to his legs, he can kick forward all the way. It's a really good kick right there. I like that. He can kick back all the way, so that's nice. And he can kick out to the side all the way. So he got a nice range of motion with that. He does have a thigh rotation. He's got a knee bend. It's a 10 out of 10 with the bend. And we got ankle rockers. So you know what that means. We can make Sideways stand any way we please. So for comparison, let's go ahead and put Armada Wheeljack in here. You can see Wheeljack's just a little bit smaller. So you got them. They look pretty good. And next up, we'll bring out Cybertron Hotshot. And I think these two look pretty good together. Hotshot and him about the same size. So you got that. And of course, we'll bring out a Voyager. We've got Cybertron, Starscream. So you got these guys right here. Look pretty good. So you got that. And it sucks that we don't have a Cybertron Megatron yet, but we'll just bring out the Armada version out here so we can see how these two look together if you want to keep them on a shelf together. So there you go. So here we have Sideways transformed into his space shuttle mode, and it's okay. A lot of the Cybertron designs are kind of hit or miss. You're either going to love them or hate them, and I'm just kind of in the middle with Sideways. I don't think he's a terrible looking spaceship, but you know, it could be better in my opinion. But when it comes to the spaceship itself, there is parts forming involved. Like I said, with the wings, you have to stick these over here. And this piece right here is the little crossbow from his robot mode. But you got to remember, with these fists, you got to keep them on the bottom side like so, because if you have them turn the other way, you won't be able to fit this into the tabs. So just make sure your fists are facing the right direction, so this will fit in nicely right there. But as a whole, you know, I really don't have a lot to say about it. It's just a pretty okay jet. If this is something that you're interested in and you love that character, I don't think you'll be disappointed. By the look of him, at least, I think he looks pretty cool. He cleans up really well on the bottom as well. You got some extra ports over here because of his legs, so you can stick guns or something right there if you want. But yeah, I mean, that's about it for this. It's pretty okay. So for vehicle comparison, let's go ahead and put Armada Wheeljack in here. You can see how they look. Pretty similar size. Nothing crazy here. So you got that. And then we'll stick in Cybertron Hotshot so you can see how they look. Looks pretty good. So there you go with that. And then we'll bring out Cybertron Starscream, who is pretty big compared to him, but I still think they look pretty good together. So you got that. And last but not least, we'll stick our big boy Armada Megatron in here. I almost forgot his name. Armada Megatron in here, and you can see Megatron is huge compared to him, but I like how they look, so there you go. So what are my final thoughts on Transformers Age of the Primes Sideways? Well, he's okay. You know, like, this isn't a figure I think you should be going to your local Walmart and fighting grandmas over to get. I think this is just okay. If you're collecting for Cybertron, you might like him. Or if you're going to get the Soundwave later, I think you'll enjoy him for that. But, you know, aside from that, if you're on a budget, you can skip this guy. I don't think you'll be crying a river over him. I think the Armada version might be better anyways, because that's coming out soon. So it's up to you what your preference is, but I'll give this guy credit. He's got amazing articulation. He's got great quality, because out of all the Cybertron toys they've done so far, he's the best, because Starscream, Hotshot, and Vector Prime, they're kind of a mixed bag with the quality, so I'm happy that this guy doesn't have problems, but he does have the parts forming, which is kind of a bummer, but it depends on the person. You might not be bothered by that. The crossbow accessory is really cool. I love that you can change that to Autobot and Decepticon, so that's a fun feature with him, but really, aside from that, this is just a personal preference thing. You know, it's either you totally dig this guy or you're going to skip him. So for the collector's rating, I'm going to go ahead and give him a 9 because he is a solid toy. He really doesn't have any problems aside from parts forming, but really aside from that, he is solid, and I think you'll enjoy him if you want him. When it comes to the parents' rating, I'll go ahead and give him a 9 as well. I think kids might like the wing turning into a weapon or something, so that might be fun for them. The crossbow weapon's pretty cool, especially with the Autobot and Decepticon switching. You get a Cyber Planet key, so I think kids will like this guy, but you know, it's going to be up to you as a parent whether you want to get this little spaceship thing or a cool car, because this is exclusive to Walmart and Hasbro Pulse. So if you don't get them this time, if you want them, I think you might be able to get them because they might reissue them. So just be on the lookout for that. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you like the content, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. It always means a lot to me when you do. And leave your comments down below. That's the most important part of these videos, is what you guys think. Do you guys love Sideways? Do you hate him? Or do you just kind of feel meh about him? So go ahead and leave your comments down below, and I will see you guys next time.